Hey guys, what's going on? So today's video is going to be just a little bit different. We're going to start way back at the basics. How to use our charcoal grill and set it up like a smoker. You don't have to have the big luxury smokers. You don't have to have an offset smoker. A standard charcoal grill, we're going to move the coals over a little bit and show you how it's done. Stay tuned. Alright guys, let's start off by saying this. Nothing in this video is sponsored. I'm not that big yet, so I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just showing you what I use on my back porch to produce the best meat possible, the best setup possible, and basically the best bang for your buck possible. Alright, so I do have the Weber Summer Charcoal Grill.
The what?
The Weber Summit Charcoal Grill.
Okay, I thought you said Webbit.
I probably did. Alright, so this setup is going to be a little bit different than your standard Kettle setup, but I did have plenty of kettles before this, so I do understand the difference, and I'm going to walk you through that, but let's just get started on this. So this comes with a standard grill grate on top. No matter how big it is, that's irrelevant. That's your grill grate on top. You guys see I have some charcoal left over. For me, this is normal, okay? Especially on a hot fast cook like steaks, pork chops, anything that's going to go fast on the grill. What I do, I just turn off all my dampers and let the coals cool down, and I can reuse them for the next cook. One of my videos, I think that smoker gasket seal review, I was talking about if your fire's going, that's literally the definition of burning money. And so all I do is just close everything down, come out the next time I grill, and I've always got a set of coals ready to go. Light just a little bit and set up a whole chimney, and you're good to go. All right, so back to the basics. This is a unique setup. It's got two levels. So if you guys are looking for the Weber Summit Charcoal Grill, this is definitely going to be a huge advantage. I'm going to move my coals over a little bit. Right in the center. Take this grill grate off. Woo. And this is what we have down under. Down under. See the ash? All right. You guys see how the ash is cleaned out now? Pretty easy. But what happens is...
Where does that ash go?
In the ass catcher.
The ass catcher?
Ash catcher. You're all over it today.
We're only 2 minutes in, honey.
That's a bloop right there. All right. This comes off as well. Okay. Set this to the side. And this is what we got. This is starting from scratch, okay? This is what the Weber Kettle Summit is all about. These prongs right here will allow you to take your charcoal a little bit lower. What happens when you're lower, your meat's higher, and now all of a sudden you're creating that space that an offset smoker would have, a barrel smoker, a pit smoker, even those 55-gallon drum smokers. That's the whole idea, is getting the meat away from the fire so you're not cooking as a high temperature. Now, I don't cook like this often. The only time I ever cook like this is when I'm doing smoked pork butts. I could do some turkeys like that. Heck, even ribs. So all we're gonna do is set this back in there. And that's, look at the difference in the space. You see that?
Where? There?
Yep.
Versus there.
Yep. So we've lowered it back in there. We've got our coals moved over. And this is one of the differences I was going to show you between this and a standard Weber kettle. We have two different tiers. On your standard kettle, you're not going to have that. So what you would do is once you put your charcoal down, you just want to move your charcoal all the way over. Now there's different methods to do this. You can use these little gadgets. This comes with most of your standard kettles. It even came with mine. Personally, I'm not that big of a fan of them. Although I have used them, I just don't necessarily see the difference. I can achieve my temperatures without them, and it's not really that big of a deal. All right, so we got our coals moved over, and for this unit, for the Weber Summit Charcoal, I'm gonna go on the lower setting. And all we're gonna do, you guys will see how much leftover charcoal there is. Let's do something very simple, okay? I swear by these. I don't know why in the world I used newspaper for 15 years. I guess because my dad always did, but I'm so glad I found these. It doesn't matter. You guys don't have to use these. You guys can use the wooden ones. I just prefer these wax cubes, and they work great for me. One strike of the lighter and it's done. There's probably going to be a couple keys to making your charcoal grill into a smoker, and this has got to be key number one. You can't overlight your charcoal. What do I mean by that? You want to light a small section of charcoal, and you want the unlit charcoal to be fuel for the long haul. So what we're going to do is we can either do one or two options. We can drop this down, light about 10 charcoals, and then we can dump them out. And what you would want to do is just dump them out into a small area, and then as this eats, it's going to eat the rest of the charcoal. That's what I call it. I don't know if there's actually a technical definition, but you know, all this would be unlit, and then it would just naturally just work its way over. All right, and the other option is very simple. This is about as easy as I can tell you. You take your wax cube, you put it right there. You got a couple charcoals to hold it.
Is that one wax cube or
it's
two?
a half of one. And just like that, we're lit. That's all it's going to take. What's going to happen is this wax cube is going to naturally melt into the charcoal. And when it does, it's going to light this little small area around it. And so what we're going to do is just let that go. And then we're going to show you, once our charcoals are lit, we're going to show you the rest of the methods to get this set up like a smoker. All right, guys, we're about the 5 to 7 minute mark, and I just wanted to show you real quick. This is probably going to happen to you guys, and I don't want you to panic. There's no fire. Our cube's burned out, but I'm telling you, that bad boy's hot. Remember, you don't have to light a lot of charcoal. You're wanting basically just like a 8 to 10, maybe 5 cube setup to where they attach to the flames. And that's going to help propel our smoking process. Oh, you know what? I did want to say this real quick. When you guys start your charcoal, make sure that your dampers are open, okay? Fire can't breathe without oxygen. So when your dampers are open, your vents are open, that allows the air to pull through, and it's going to be able to light your charcoal a lot better. Well, the top ones don't matter, honey. We're down. The fire's down here.
Oh. Okay.
That's why you're the microwave queen.
That's right.
Not the charcoal king. Oh yeah, we're getting good. All right, so about 5, maybe 8 more minutes from now, we're going to come back. We're going to show you how much charcoal was lit. We're going to get it set up, and we're going to show you a couple different options. So we've been in a stiff argument between me and my wife because she doesn't think the charcoal's lit. She said, how in the world are people out there going to think the charcoal's lit and you can't even see it lit? And I said, honey, you got to trust me. There's a difference. We're not trying to take a whole chimney of charcoal and light it on fire. So I said, put your hand down there and see if it's hot. And she said, no. And I said, well, trust me then. So what we got, all I got is the magazine to show you guys that it is lit. I don't know if you guys can see the flames going underneath because we're just taking some oxygen to it. See how hot it's getting? Trust me, them bad boys are lit because you don't want to overdo it. The toughest thing about a smoker is get your temperature too high. It's harder to lower your temperature than it is to raise your temperature. Just like ingredients, you know, it's harder to take away salt than it is to add salt. So it's kind of like the same way. Now there's 50 different ways to light your charcoal. I just do it the simple way. We're going to be doing a chicken later, how to smoke a whole chicken. And that's why we're doing this process, to show you guys just how to set up a grill so we don't have to do that whole process over and over again. But the point is if you leave your chicken out or any type of meat out for 30, 45 minutes, then there's no reason why you can't come out here and start your grill and get everything ready. So when your meat's ready, you're ready. I hear all the time the reason why they like gas is because it's so easy. I'm like, man, all I did was move my charcoal over, added a half a cube, pressed the light button, and went back inside and just had breakfast. So it's just a personal preference, but we're going to get back to what we're doing here. Turning this bad boy into a smoker. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just add some charcoal. I'm going to add it to the side so you guys can see what I'm doing. Come on. Now, how much charcoal you add is going to depend on how big of a piece of meat you have, and how long you're going to smoke. We're not doing a brisket. We're not doing 12 hours. We're just going to throw a chicken on here. So I'm just going to mound up some cubes right around that hot spot, and it won't take but a second for this stuff to light. Now that's got new fuel. Mound a little bit heavy right there. And my charcoal naturally burns kind of like up and away. So that's the way that's why I'm going to position these coals. And all you're going to do is just set the coals over there. Nice and easy. Now you guys can see the smoke. You guys see that? That's proof that it's lit. Sometimes you just got to trust somebody. Is that right, honey? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So the different options that I was talking to you about before come down to basically this setup right here. There's no doubt that you want a 2-zone system, but the biggest thing about a 2-zone system is getting the fire away from the meat. Now, if you had the Weber, the 22-inch or even the bigger version, and you didn't have the ability to drop the coals down, this would be the same idea method. You would just want to use it, put your charcoals all the way over to the side, and then water is a great heat insulator, and this is what people do. Whatever method you use, whether it be this or let's show them this or this, even as bad as it looks, I'll put a piece of aluminum foil in there, clean it out sometimes, and I'll add water. And the point of adding water is to add moisture. And so what you would do, see how much smoke's coming out now? You would just set this over to the side, filled up with water, and that would act as a heat grabber, as an insulator. It also adds moisture to the product you're cooking. So that's one way. Some people use diffuser plates. This one comes with it. You can buy them aftermarket. I'll show you guys this real quick. So this allows the smoke to come up one side, and it protects your side here. So what you could do again is add this. Now this could be a one of two options. It could catch the juice coming down from your meat, or it could add moisture to the smoke. I typically don't use this. There's not too many times that I've used it, and when I haven't necessarily felt that it's made that big of a difference. It does keep the bottom of my grill a little bit cleaner, but all in all, I haven't noticed that big of a difference.
Ooh,
there you go again.
sneezing.
Yep. Seems like every video you got something to say. All right, we're just gonna move this back over. All right, so we're gonna let this go. The next biggest thing is what kind of wood we're gonna use. When you set up a smoker, typically you wanna add some type of wood. Lately, it seems like people haven't been smoking their wood chips. When I was growing up, we always smoked our wood chips, whether it be chunks or chips. I'll show you guys the difference real quick. Just little chips. And then we got apple, blame it on her. All right, so this is the apple bag that I had left over. And you guys see in there, I've got apple in there, I've got Tabasco, I've got hickory in the house, I've got mesquite. They're usually $3, $4, $8 a bag. It's not a big purchase, but it adds just an incredible amount of flavor. Okay. So from here, this is about where we want it. If I could show, if you guys can get down here, I don't know if you guys can see that angle right there. That bad boy is getting pretty hot. You guys see that? That's a pretty good lit area. You guys can see the smoke coming up. So this is a good time to do what we're about to do. So once we got it to here, I want you guys to see how much smoking. So all we're gonna do is add some wood chips. Some people put it in the beginning and let it finish off on the end. I don't know, I just throw it down there. Heck, I don't think it really matters. But what we are gonna do is show you guys my world favorite. Another thermometer, the ThermoPro. Now remember, I'm not selling you anything. And I don't care if you got one or not, but if you don't, you should. It's just basically a wireless thermometer. Everybody has their own preference of which one they like. They swear by them, they cuss them. I've been pretty happy with this. Can't complain. So all we're gonna do, we're gonna put it about where we'd want our chicken to go. Our chicken's gonna be here because our meat is over, our fire is over here. All right. Set that off to the side and let that go. All right, so what we're gonna do is keep the dampers open, okay? We're gonna close the lid. And for this model, we're just gonna open it all the way up. You guys see the smoke? So what happens now is gonna start creating that temperature zone that we're looking for. And the temperature zone we're gonna go today is about 250 to 275. And why is that important? Because this method right here, no matter if it's a smaller Weber or this Weber, is the same temperature you're going to cook your ribs at. Same temperature you're going to cook a Boston pork butt or pork shoulder at. So once again, we've shown you guys the method. Now it's just up to you guys to apply the meat. So what we're going to do when you're doing your kettle, this is probably key number 2, okay? Let this bad boy go as hot as it can until it reaches about 25 degrees before your target temp. That means you're going to allow the oxygen and the fire to build and the heat to build inside your kettle to about 225. Once that's done, we're going to clamp down the dampers and we're going to get it dialed in to the temperature we want. See? All right, guys, so I just closed the damper a little bit, and I don't know if we can see this, but this is what it's about when you have if it's a new piece of equipment, it's gonna be hard to do, but you guys can see when I move this. You guys see those rings right there? I've taken a Sharpie where I found my sweet spot, and all I did was go inside of it and mark it. So every time I'm very consistent, so there's
Let's see, turn it. I can't see the Sharpie.
See that?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of a little bit older, and I probably could do it again. But all you do is move it to where you've known that you've had success in the past and mark it, because repetition is key when you're...
That's a good hack, honey.
What?
That's a good hack.
That's a good hack. All right.
With the Sharpie.
The point is when you know you've done something good, you want to be able to repeat it. There's nothing more frustrating than calling your dad and saying, hey, I just made the best steak of my life, and he comes over, you know, a week later and it's a dud. So also down here, there's another hack. Same thing. This is what it looked like before. You guys see how I've put my mark there? That to me is the perfect temperature, or the perfect spot to keep a low temperature for my grill. You guys can see right here, we've come up, we're about 250, which is exactly where we want it. And now we're in that low smoke mode. Look how close that is in the monitor. See that word right there, smoke and low? That's what we're kind of trying to keep it at, between 250 and 275. Now, like anything else, in the summer, your charcoal is naturally going to burn hotter. Your grill stays hotter, so it's easier to overshoot your temperature. That's why you want to go for a very low amount of coals. Second, winter is obviously the exact opposite. You might have to start off with more coals and put more coals in it depending on how long you're going to smoke. Our next video that we're about to shoot in a couple hours is only a chicken. So I'm not worried about the time or how much charcoal I have in there. I have plenty of charcoal to go the long distance. So at this point now, you're done. Now you've set your grill up to be a smoker. There's really no other way to explain it. We've got our meat thermometer set here because our fire's coming up from here. And then our meat's going to go about right here. So this is why I put the thermometer here, because you guys can see that when you close your thermometer lid, it's a little bit higher than what your meat would sit on. So what happens is the heat rises. Some of it comes up here and then it creates a vortex. It just keeps going around and around. So the temperature over here could be different than the temperature right here. And that's why I have this. You want to explain to them the real reason why I have it? Is because when I'm sitting on my couch watching a football game or a baseball game, I can look at my temp on here, and I know that if I'm about 225, I'm about 205 here, I'm close. I'm in the ballpark. There's no alarms going off. Plus, it's got the extra thermometer. This is going to go inside the chicken. I can sit in my house. I can control the temp, make sure everything's going okay here. Go inside, visit with friends, check this every once in a while, and make sure I'm not shooting I make sure I'm not overcooking the meat. So other than that, guys, I thank you for watching. Like I said, we're about to put that chicken on to show you guys how to smoke a chicken with all the flavors and the natural juices. I just thought it was really important to get a basic guideline of how we set up this grill to be a smoker. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, and I want you to, what?
Pound
That notification button, and we're gonna see you in a couple hours.